Hello, my name is David Stevenson. I am the Executive Director of External Relations and Communications for Alpine School District. Thank you for taking a few minutes to join us as we review the presentation which was held at various locations throughout Alpine School District to give the information about the upcoming bond. During this presentation, we will give an accountability of the 2016 bond, information about the 2022 bond, and what you should do if you have a question. As the school board contemplated placing the bond on the ballot for this November, they considered two main guiding principles. First of all, to provide safe and welcoming facilities that enhance student learning, and secondly, to be wise stewards of taxpayer resources by minimizing the tax burden and also maintaining a relatively flat tax rate. So let's begin with the accountability of the 2016 bond. As you may recall, this was the information that was shared in 2016 for the $387 million bond. It had 22 projects, which have now all been completed. So we will review those projects by community in alphabetical order, starting with American Fork. Now at the bottom, you'll notice this says capital. So throughout this accountability, we're going to show projects that were done with both bond funding and also capital funding. The district receives capital funding each year, which is generated by local taxes. And so this is an accountability to you, the taxpayers, of what we have used those funds for. First of all, in American Fork, you can see there at American Fork High School, there was an upgrade to the athletic fields. And you will notice throughout this presentation where we have transformed the main field from grass to turf. Also in American Fork, Greenwood Elementary was rebuilt with bond funds. Legacy Elementary had a roof replacement with bond funds. And with capital funds, we currently have placed Polaris and Summit High, which are our alternative high schools, in a location just off of 500 East in American Fork. It makes it very accessible from all students throughout Alpine School District to attend these alternative high school programs. We now move out to Eagle Mountain, where Brookhaven Elementary was built with bond funds, Cedar Valley High School also with bond funds, and with capital funds, since Cedar Valley High School has now surpassed 3,000 students, we have added a portable satellite with multiple classrooms. Currently, an elementary school is under construction in the Overland development in Eagle Mountain, and that is being financed with local building authority funds. Additionally, in Eagle Mountain, Frontier Middle School has a satellite which was funded with capital funds, and Silver Lake Elementary School was built with bond funds. Moving to Highland, if you entered Highland Elementary prior to this project, you had to walk down the hallway past multiple classrooms in order to find the office. This project was a safety security project which rebuilt the office at the front of the school. And so if you enter the front door, there is a secure entry with a buzz-in system, and the office is located right at the main entrance. At Lone Peak High School, again, we have replaced the grass with turf, and that was a capital project. And also at Lone Peak High School, a new roof replacement, which was over $4 million. Moving to Lehigh, Belmont Elementary School was built with bond funds, and the final phase of Lehigh High School was completed, so that all phases of the rebuild of Lehigh High School are now finished. Lehigh High School, Pleasant Grove High School, and American Fork High School were all built in 1959. And so Lehigh is the first of those three schools to have all of the phases completed. Liberty Hills Elementary was completed with bond funds, and a turf replacement at Skyridge High School was completed with capital funds. Viewpoint Middle School was also built with bond funds. And currently there are 3 portables at Viewpoint Middle School. which were financed with capital funds. In Linden, we have purchased a piece of property for a potential elementary school in the future. Also in Linden, Oak Canyon had a roof replacement with bond funds. Now, similar to the Highland Elementary project, Aspen Elementary and Bonneville Elementary also had a front office relocation so that those who enter the building through the front door will be able to use the secure entry and go through the office. Also in Orem, Cascade Elementary was rebuilt with bond funds. Centennial Elementary was built with local building authority funds. And Geneva Elementary, which was our oldest school, was recently demolished with capital funds. Those students attend school now at Parkside Elementary School, which is just to the south of this site. Also in Orem, Mountain View High School received multiple renovations, approximately $10 million worth of bond funds and $3 million worth of capital funds to refurbish the fine arts areas, the front office area, also painting, new windows, upgrades in the restrooms were all completed at Mountain View High School, along with a turf field and softball fields. At Orem High School, there was a refurbishment of the baseball fields with capital funds. And finally in Orem, Timpanogos High School was a roof replacement and also the turf field. Moving to Pleasant Grove, Central Elementary School was rebuilt with bond funds. The picture actually shows the Space Center, which is located at Central Elementary School. This, in part, was completed with nearly $4 million in donations. Otherwise, it wouldn't look so spectacular. The Space Center there has the second largest planetarium in the state of Utah. Also in Pleasant Grove, Manila Elementary School received a complete HVAC upgrade along with lighting and ceiling upgrades. We're now moving to Saratoga Springs, where Harbor Point Elementary School was built with local building authority funds. Lake Mountain with bond. Westlake High School was a turf field with capital. And Trailside Elementary and Vineyard was built with bond funds. And finally, a component on the 2016 bond was safety and security upgrades. We were able to put push-button locks in all interior doors at all elementary schools. And this is in response to the need for quick locking of doors in case of a lockdown or an intruder in our schools. Security cameras were replaced or upgraded at all of our secondary schools. This is a map showing communities throughout Alpine School District and the combination of bond and capital funds which have gone into schools in each of those communities since 2015. At this point, we would like to discuss information about the 2022 bond, which is on the current ballot.
This is the Lewis family, and like you, they live in the Alpine School District. Many communities in the district continue to grow rapidly. By 2030, there will be nearly 5,000 additional students. With many schools already at capacity, it's easy to see that more schools are needed to educate our children. So how does this impact the Lewis family? Well, the kids are worried about their schools being too crowded. Grandma and Grandpa are concerned about aging facilities, and Mom and Dad want schools that enhance learning opportunities. Building various schools to accommodate growth and rebuild and renovate other schools with seismic safety and security concerns will help address increasing number of students with a bond proposition on the 2022 November ballot. One thing on Mr. Lewis's mind is how this will raise the tax rate. This upcoming bond will do a number of things for the Alpine School District, but the one thing it won't do is raise the current tax rate. That's because Alpine School District has a AAA bond rating. Because previous bonds have had accelerated payoff, taxpayers will see no increase in the yearly tax rate from Alpine District. While fluctuating property values change property taxes, bond layering will keep the tax rate the same. While the 2016 bond helped complete 22 projects in many Alpine School District communities, there's still work to be done. Accountability to taxpayers by completing all of the projects have always been a priority. This proposed bond will address 4 areas. New schools in high-growth areas, including a new high school, middle school, and 4 elementary schools. Because of increasing seismic concerns, Pleasant Grove High School and American Fork High School are slated for the completion of their rebuilds. An elementary school will also be rebuilt. 3 new high school additions with multi-use facilities will also take place. Safety and security measures and land acquisitions are also part of the bond. The Lewis family encourages you to gather information about this bond in order to make an informed decision when you vote. The bond will be listed as Proposition 1 in the upcoming election on November 8th. Like the Lewis family, you can vote in one of 3 ways. Return the mail-in ballot before November 7th, early vote in person between October 25th and November 4th, or cast your vote at the polling station on November 8th. Thank you for your time and happy voting.
This is a list of the projects which are just shown in the video. In the center, you can see that's divided into 4 areas. New construction with the middle school, high school, and 4 elementary schools. Rebuilds and renovations. We mentioned that in the 2016 bond, Lehigh High School had its final phase completed. This bond will complete the final phases at Pleasant Grove High and American Fork High, along with the rebuild of an elementary school based on a study of seismic watch in the schools. We're also looking at a multi-use facility at Lone Peak, Timpanogos, and Orem High Schools. And finally, safety and security and land acquisition. As was mentioned in the 2016 bond, with the elementary schools receiving the interior door locks, we'll now go into our secondary schools and replace all of the door locks with the push-button locks, as well as concentrate on security cameras now in elementary schools. As you can see there on the left, why bond? Growth is one of the main factors for this. Alpine School District grew by 9,000 students in the last 5 years, and we're slated to grow by nearly 5,000 students by 2030. Also, you may recall the district considered a bond in 2020, but that was delayed based on feedback from our patrons and the difficulties that were faced at that time with the pandemic. So that bond was delayed. Also, as was mentioned in the video, the Alpine School District has a AAA bond rating from both Moody's and Fitch, and this saves us millions of dollars in interest as we pay back the bonds. And as we went through the accountability of the 2016 bond, it's important to note that it's very important to our school board that we keep our commitments. There's also been questions about seismic issues at our schools. On the right of this infographic, it shows which schools have actually been rebuilt, moved, and where we have done partial upgrades and renovations. The back of the infographic shows pictures of the bond projects completed in 2016, along with what the ballot language looks like and other information about the bonding structure where we're able to layer in bonds, which helps keep the tax rate the same or even lower. Now, obviously, property taxes are determined by the Utah County Assessor's Office. While we can keep the tax rate the same based on so many new taxpayers in Alpine School District, the actual property taxes you pay is based on the valuation of your property. The Utah Taxpayers Association has taken a neutral stance on the Alpine School District bond, and the bond layering, as described by the Utah Taxpayers Association, is an innovative strategy that we're able to do. They also talk there about our aggressive repayment of principal because of our AAA bond rating. And this graph just shows the tax rate history. Finally, what do I do if I have a question? We have a website dedicated to providing information for the bond. If you just go to alpineschools.org, you can click on a button that will take you right to this web page. So again, we thank you for taking the time for receiving this information, and we encourage you to gather all the information you can to be an informed voter for the Alpine School District bond. Thank you.